Why do women choose the bad guys? Why do women go back to the bad guys who have treated them poorly? And why do the nice guys don't get a chance with the women they want? Now listen, men, I'm going to be going over in today's video so we can have some clarity around this topic, because logically, it doesn't really make sense to men why the bad guys get picked over the nice guys who are kind. I want to get into it further to give you guys clarity and a perspective within the female mind that perhaps is necessary in order for you guys to structure yourself in a way that can produce a level of security within who you are. Now listen, men, first and foremost, how a woman picks a man is obviously due to her very own nature of how she perceives males in her life that actually allow her to be stimulated the same way she was as a child. Now, I know this does not make sense on like a logical level, but let me get further into it now, because both men and women have a lot of, emotional trauma that we carry. Okay. And you're not a bitch for saying that out loud if you're a guy. We all got our own shit. And a lot of people actually attract partners based on an unconscious emotion that needs their attention, they're addressing, and for them to address further. And what better way to have people in their lives that stimulate the same trigger that was actually put onto them as a child in order for them to heal? Now, a lot of women don't have the awareness around this of why they keep on going back to guys that pick their wounds and pour alcohol on them that sting them deeply, but there's a part of them that likes it. It's because of the dynamic that she craves that makes her feel safe within herself through the emotions that made her feel safe as a child. Now, the bad guys, they get a good rap, I guess, from women, because there's something about them that's sexy, that's, that draws them towards them. And obviously, I don't condone abuse. I don't condone any sort of mistreatment to women and men at all. But there is a dynamic at play when it comes to the bad boy persona that allows women to actually feel attracted to the men that she picks. Now, there's something that's called polarity. A lot of people have a really hard time admitting to this, but polarity is necessary in order for this world to go around. Having the masculine and the feminine, having day and night, having dark and light, having negative and positive. It allows us to have a full spectrum experience here on planet Earth that is kind of exciting. And that's exactly what I'm getting into next. A lot of the women who pick the guys who create a lot of disturbance in her emotional states are the ones actually that have a greater ability to excite her, not only sexually, but emotionally and physically, due to the very contrasting elements he's bringing forward onto her life. Now, when we have, let's say, a nice guy that's very predictable, is docile, is agreeable, that's kind, maybe over generous, it gives that woman a sense that he is putting her before himself. And this isn't going to provide safety for a woman long term, but it's also going to allow her to walk all over her man, the nice guy, let's say in this experience, to the point where she loses respect for that man due to the very fact that he has no boundaries around how she treats him. Now, this is something that I think the bad guys get a bad rep over, because a lot of people within this society think it's bad for men to have boundaries, bad for men to have standards. And with that actually comes a greater level of sex appeal within women who are attracted to men who are more in their masculine structure, figure, role. And the men who are more so nice, docile, agreeable, like I said, they don't have a strong enough self-concept, confidence, and assurance within who he is that allows a woman to actually decide who he is for him. This is not an attractive role for any man to be in, because you are not actually allowing yourself to be the leader in the relationship. Regardless of how this woman treats you, It really does matter for a man to hold up his masculine structure for his own protection as well. But with that protection actually comes her protection, because you're doing things in your best interest within the container that has her in mind. I know that kind of got a little deep, and this is kind of a tricky subject because all nice guys aren't the same and all bad guys aren't the same, which is why I'm honing in on actually the female who decides on the bad guy is usually due to a pattern that she's used to experiencing within men that validates a belief system of her very own self-worth. So let's say a bad guy, for example, who actually is not a great guy to her, treats her horribly, is rude, maybe to her family, her friends, and she still is with him. It's because to some level, she feels like she's deserving of that. Maybe she had a father that neglected her, a father that abused her, a father, or masculine figures around her, or maybe no masculine figure around her that showed her what a healthy masculine man is. So for her, she's kind of walking on thin ice, not knowing what's normal and what's not, which is why it's really important that I want to hone in on today's discussion is for both men and women to be able to discern a partner from a place of a healed state of mind. Not saying you have to be 100% healed, because I still got triggers that come up and I'm in a relationship. I still have my own shit that I'm working through. I'm not perfect, and no human being is perfect. We're meant to be fragmented in order to put ourselves back together again, to see the grand aspect of who we are in truth. And we need our partners, we need relationships to actually see the aspects of ourselves that we cannot trigger within just our very own personal experience. Which is why the bad guys do a really great job of picking the wounds, but they also do a really great job of highlighting within the woman where she is giving her power away to, whether it be a man, a thought stream, maybe her own sexual pleasures that she gets out of the dynamic of having a man who's in control of her and her kind of being subjected to that. A lot of sex appeal can actually come from that dynamic. Not saying it's healthy, but it's the truth. It happens within masculinity and femininity. It's the shadow aspects of both coming online. But, the nice guys get also a bad rap because, you actually being a kind person and you not being picked has nothing to do with you. Or maybe it does. I don't know your guys' experience, but I will say this. A man who is integrated within himself is kind. He is kind, but he's also not unkind to himself in the moments where he may have to stand firm in who he is, in his boundaries, in his voice, in his opinions. And knowing that that is not an unkind thing to do, that is necessary for any single human being to be respected in their own truth by allowing your truth to be the guiding light in your life. So again, for anyone watching this video, bad guys, nice guys, who has greater appeal on women? Most likely it's going to be the bad guys, because most likely a lot of people need healing. And within the bad guys, they actually get to attract out of the woman all the areas that go unnoticed. And perhaps within the nice guy dynamic, all of the triggers actually still get to come online, but she gets to use them on a man as a punching bag instead of a mirror. Very two different dynamics. So please, not saying don't be a nice guy, and I'm not saying just be a bad guy. Have a healthy balance of both, and knowing you having boundaries and structure and standards is not a bad thing. And you being overly agreeable, overly kind, generous is just a recipe for a woman to walk all over you and to lose respect in the long term. So have a healthy balance, okay? Be smart within the decision of discerning a partner. And is your partner only there to pick your wounds? And if so, learn the lessons from those people and apply them within the knowledge of yourself to go forward into another relationship with greater clarity of your triggers, where you give over your power and what needs to be healed by you. and simultaneously another partner if it's there in a healthier energetic. We're not perfect, but we all got healing to do. So I hope this gave you guys some clarity into, a woman's perspective, the best that I could do, at least from my vantage point. If you guys like today's video, give it a like, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.